Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Uncovered Queen, and today I'll be talking a little bit more about some things I discovered looking at the autopsy report for Kenneka Jenkins, and also some missing people in Chicago, and a little bit on organ trafficking. So initially when I was doing this video, I was looking for all my information to put it together before actually recording, and I wanted to talk about the thymus gland being reported as missing or not found. However, when I started looking into the autopsy, I did find some things that were, dare I say, a little bit weird and not what I was expecting to find. So the first thing I noticed that was pretty unusual was the name. So as we can see, this is the report from the Cook County, but it's L. Jenkins. Now, we've been calling her Kenneka, so surely I would have thought that would have been, K. Jenkins. So the fact that there's an L there made me kind of wonder who is this person that begins with an L. What's the actual real name if that's not the real name? Based on the information, September the 10th, the white bra, the denim jacket, the denim jeans, this is the Kenneka Jenkins, this is the autopsy report from that night, but the name was a little bit alarming. So the second thing that I noticed that was a little bit weird was basically, because this video I'm going to be talking about organ trafficking, I wanted to talk about her thymus gland. I had thought that maybe her hand was repositioned above her chest to actually hide the incisions they would have had to make to actually get the thymus gland out, because located either behind the heart or next to the heart, which meant they would have had to cut around the breasts. And as we know, a lot of the pictures are covering up that area. The sentence does read as the chest and breast are symmetrical, but essentially what I was looking for was something to say, there has been some cuts, there's been some bruising, some discoloration on the skin, and there was nothing there. So this kind of made me think, what if they had actually gone in and removed this organ after the photos had been taken, because then it wouldn't have been picked up in the autopsy report. But then at the same time, we are aware that organ trafficking is a systematic thing, so actually you need parties to be in cahoots with each other. So the medical office and the police and those two guys in the videos we've seen that have come to take the body, they are probably in cahoots with one another. So it could have easily have been, just don't report on that. But another thing that I found quite weird was this, because of course I was looking for that little bit that I've seen people point out, say, the thymus was not found. However, in this report it says all body organs are present in a normal atomic positions, which basically means all the organs are where they're supposed to be in the body. So where they are, biologically found, they're all there. The only reason I kind of highlighted those three things out was because I wanted to just talk briefly on that. I find it, and I found other stuff instead. So yeah, the L. Who is L Jenkins? Lenore Jenkins? Well, then she's not even a Jenkins, actually. I don't know what her name is, but I know she's got a different surname from the rest of the family. So weird. No reporting on any cuts or anything around that area. Nothing about the bruising that we've seen in the pictures. And here it's saying all the body organs are present. But yeah, nonetheless, let's just dive into the rest of the video. So initially, what I wanted to talk about was some articles. The one that got my attention really was, let's see if we can find it. Okay, it was this one here. So this guy, police searching for man last seen at the Holy Cross Hospital. So this guy is a young 24-year-old guy. His name is Julian Grange. Okay, and he has been missing for more than 2 weeks. He's missing for more than 2 weeks. he was last seen at the Holy Cross Hospital in Chicago. And you know, I thought, okay, have a little read of the article, see what's there. And when you actually read the article, of course, there's nothing really there other than a brief description of what they looked like, what they were wearing, and that's it. No information as to what they were doing in the hospital. You know, was it a regular appointment? Were they under operation? There was, you know, no real information. But within the next, you know, 5 minutes of opening that article, I'd come across some other articles, which I'm going to go through with you guys now. So we've got this one here of a 26-year-old man. He went missing since Saturday. Bearing in mind, all of these have been reported in the last week. So these are not like, you know, really old missing people's reports. These have all been reported within the time the Kenneka Jenkins case has gone practically viral. And just to kind of point, these people are also local to Chicago as well. So, 26-year-old man been reported missing from the West Town neighborhood. So, he was last seen in his neighborhood. This woman missing for more than 1 month. This woman actually went missing on September the 18th. So, she has been missing for over a month. Got a description of her. This I found was quite weird. Police says Davies goes on very long walks. There's nothing unusual about going for walks. You know, I occasionally like to go for a little stroll. But I kind of just felt like, was that put in there to kind of, you know, take away the severity of this is a missing person? Oh no, she's probably just gone for a long walk, a month-long walk, you know. That doesn't really happen, but yep, she's been missing for over a month now. You know, this is not hitting a massive, you know, headlines. This is, people are not talking about this, people are not reporting these things. This one's actually quite sad. So we've got a 13-year-old girl last seen leaving school. The Thursday she was last seen. This was the 26th of October. Gone. She's disappeared. I've mentioned this guy, Julian Grange. He's been missing for over 2 weeks now. Quite suspicious as well, the fact that he's actually gone to a hospital and he's last seen around the hospital. Also, another thing that I thought was a bit interesting as well is that in the day and age of CCTV, I would have thought there would have been a CCTV camera around, you know, on the outside perimeters of the hospital that would have actually picked him up and would have picked up his last, you know, his last movements. But of course, there's no footage of that. Alright, and then this one here, we've got a 14-year-old girl. She went missing. There was something quite, there we go, interesting about this one as well. Police said Sanders might be with her friend, Kayla Smith. Now, bear with me. She went missing on Friday. And this report was posted on the Monday, October the 23rd was a Monday. It was last week Monday. Which means she went missing the Friday before that. She's been gone for about 4 days. I don't think she's at her friend's house. Now, I did notice one of the videos I wanted to talk about. I didn't actually click on it. But it's this one here. Woman who suffers from mental disability missing from South Chicago. Now, I have read all these articles. Like, this is all on my phone. But this particular woman, she went missing from her neighborhood. And, you know, with someone with a mental disability, you are quite vulnerable, so you should be a priority to, you know, to be found as such. And, of course, no one's really looking for them. I'll see if I can actually quickly grab it up. I found the article, so I'm just going to put it over into the screen here. Okay. So here's the article now. So 32-year-old woman who suffers from mental disability went missing last week from the South Chicago neighborhood. This is a picture of her. And that's it. Yet again, there's really nothing about them. Just a brief, you know, description, and that's that. So this made me want to look into something else. This made me want to look into organ harvesting a little bit more. And I found an article talks about organ harvesting, human trafficking, and the black market. And I think this is kind of relevant because with the Kenneka Jenkins case, this has really put this, out there, and it's really, emphasised the fact that yes, there is corruption in the police force. Yes, there are weird relationships between the different domains. You've got the medical domain, you've got the police domain, and there are relationships that should not really be happening as far as allowing certain things to, happen under the table. And one of these things is organ harvesting and essentially human trafficking. So in lieu of the people that have just disappeared out of nowhere, I felt like this might be worth actually just kind of breaking down for those that may not be super familiar with it. Also to note as well, there was a common trend that I noticed in the sample of people that were missing, and they were all people of colour. Now, I have read other reports and seen TV shows on, the fact that they steal organs from people. You go to a doctor's, you don't come back, and there's a specific group of people that are targeted. And not just that as well, but the fact that, there was a 14-year-old girl that went missing, there was a 13-year-old girl that went missing. I've seen a documentary on Netflix, and I think it's called I'm Jane Doe. I'm not too sure what it's called, but essentially what it's about is about these young girls that have been kidnapped from their homes, or been kidnapped off the streets, and they're being sold into, prostitution, and they're being sold on websites such as, I think it's Backpage.com, and these are underage girls. Some of these are lucky to actually escape and make it back home, but some of them aren't. And there are a lot of laws that protect these websites and third-party sellers and so forth, that actually is very hard for anybody to be prosecuted for this. And so we know they're stealing our young women. We know they're stealing our young black people, of any age for all matters, for their organs. But I just didn't really understand how big of a deal organ trafficking was, as well as human trafficking, until I kind of had a little look at certain articles. So we're going to have a look at this one. Okay, so this is the organ harvesting, human trafficking, and the black market. Okay, so it just starts off by saying, let's get my highlighter going. Just starts off by saying, organ harvesting have ties to human trafficking and have become a booming business in the 21st century on a global scale. And yes, this is a global scale. I don't want anyone to feel like I've kind of pinpointed Chicago and tried to make Chicago out to be this place where only people go missing. No, I just wanted to highlight the fact that we're focused on one case, but yet people are still going missing. This stuff is still happening. Let's, the things that we're being exposed to, let's look into these a little bit more and see what we can do about it. I think it's actually important to understand a little bit about the supply and demand, because, the more something is needed, the more expensive it's going to be, because a lot of people want to buy it, and that's how you monetize of it. So according to the American Transplant Foundation, 123,000 people in the United States are on a waiting list to receive an organ. Now, this article was written back in 2016, and to be honest with you, this number could have increased. This may have not even been a representative number. There could have been people that were diagnosed as needing a new organ. There could have been a lot of people that do need a new organ but were unaware. So I believe this number could easily be more. But there are 123,000 people on the waiting list. Every 12 minutes, a new name is added. So let that sink in. Every 12 minutes, a new name is added to that waiting list. On average, 21 persons per day die due to the lack of organ availability. Corneas, kidneys, livers, lungs, intestines, bone marrow are the most common organs needed to transplant. So we've got another source here that says there are 121,000 people currently waiting for an organ transplant, over which 100,000 of these are waiting for a kidney. Okay, so this lets us know straight away that this number is inaccurate and that it's a lot more, because if you've got 121,000 people waiting for an organ and yet 1,000 of those are waiting for a kidney, that only leaves space for what, 2,000 people to be waiting for other stuff. No, and this is back in 2015. So yeah, this has to be a lot more. This number has to be more. We're now, you know, at the end of 2017. Okay, this is something I noticed that was actually quite important. Only 30,000 procedures are done legally, and this was recorded back in 2015. We need to think about this number. We need to go back to this number. Literally, that is like what? Under a tenth of people that are needing transplants. Only under a tenth of those are actually being done legally. So you have to think, right? If in 2015 you had 120,000 people waiting for an organ transplant and only 30 procedures took place, what happened to the rest of those people? You know, what happened to the other 7,000 plus people, 70,000 plus people waiting for organs? You know, so I'm just trying to kind of go through this to give you guys a big idea of actually how organ trafficking works and what it is. So, according to the World Health Organization, America is one of the many organ importing countries, and by the use of the web, patients can get transplant packages from $70,000 to over $160,000. So organs are going for big money. They're not cheap. They are not cheap. That is a lot of money. Okay? That is a lot of money. So, USA Today conducted an investigative report in 2006 and found that illegal body harvesting is lucrative in the US due to high demand of body parts. Yet again, the first paragraph was saying that 123,000 people waiting a transplant. So, if you can sell them for about $160,000 per organ, then we need to start thinking about how much, you know, how much revenue can be brought in from this market. Now, this I read was quite interesting. Okay, so an investigation that they ran they ran an investigation from 1987 to 2006. They found just under 17,000 families had pursued lawsuits stating that their loved ones had their body parts removed and sold for an estimated $6 million. Okay, so that's over a 20-year period. This was happening back in the day. This was happening back in the late 80s, and this has probably been happening forever. But this just gives people a bigger idea of what exactly it is that is going on over here. Okay, so we'll keep going. So they're saying that they're being sold and obtained from federal and local investigators, public organizations, and medical universities. You know, interesting stuff, man. Okay, so this is actually a good question. So actually, okay, cool. Where do organs come from? So you have donors. You have people that willingly offer their organs. They donate their organs if they're a match to someone. I know in some cases you can, you know, if you die or something, there's I think it's on a driver's license, you can tick a box saying, yeah, you can have my organs and stuff like that. So in some cases, yes, people do, and it's not uncommon, donate their organs. Look at Selena Gomez and her flatmate that just so happened to be an identical match. But anyway, oh, actually, that kind of just made me think of something where people say that you know, Kenneka Jenkins' organs got given to Selena Gomez. Well, if I quickly go back to this, where is it? There it goes. Well, it says all her body organs were present in a normal atomic position. So who knows? But anyway, let's continue reading through this article. So yeah. So some people donate and offer to donate their organs, and there was a man who was on Craigslist who was offering his organ for $30,000. He was offering his kidney for $30,000, and he got several hits in 1 month. They went undercover, posing as a person willing to sell a kidney, and exchanged emails from organ brokers as well as doctors who were willing to perform the transplant for a fee. So this is another thing as well, because a lot of people need to understand that corruption works in so many different institutions. It's not just the police, it's not just, you know, the government and politics, even in the medical field. So you are having doctors that will perform illegal transplant for a fee. As long as they're paid off, they will do it. So this does highlight, you know, the fact that there is corruption in the medical field. So if I keep scrolling down, it kind of talks about organ trafficking and basically what is organ trafficking essentially. So to define organ trafficking is a form of human trafficking and is an organized crime that can be broken down into 3 categories. So the first one here is traffickers who trick the victim into giving up an organ for no cost. Second point here, so con artists who convince victims to sell their organs but who do not pay, or who pay less than they agreed to. And the third bit here, which is doctors who treat people for alignment which may or may not exist and remove the organs without the victim's knowledge. Now the last one I think happens quite commonly. I do like to kind of have my facts before I start talking about stuff, so I will like do a bit of research on this. But in documentaries like Hidden Colours, they talk about, you know, people from the black communities going to get checkups and, you know, not coming back with their organs. So this does happen. So that is our definition of organs, and I feel like this affects people from lower income backgrounds, you know. You think if you trick someone into giving them your organ and you sell that organ on, that's 100% profit. It's 100% profit margin. If you convince someone to sell you your organs, you're probably going to target someone that needs the money. So you probably, you know, entice them with a big fee and then actually sell them a fraction of that, if anything. Okay, so I wanted to scroll down because there was some interesting bits here. Basically, apparently only one person has ever been convicted of this. It's the first proven, well actually at the time this article was written, this person, Levi Rosenbaum, was the first person to be sentenced for organ trafficking, and he was only sentenced to 2.5 years, which is nothing. And what he actually did, he was selling 3 kidneys for a total of $410,000, and he was buying organs from poor Israelis and reselling them. So he was buying these for $10,000 and selling them for $120,000. He was making a 12%. He was selling for 12% more, which is actually incredible. And he was doing this. Whoa! Apparently he was doing this for this was over just from 1999 to 2000 for just a year, but still. So this article goes on about killing to give life, and this is an aspect that we're actually quite familiar with, and there's certain names, a particular name that is a little bit mysterious, like the Kenneka Jenkins case. However, I feel like this one is a little bit more, I don't know, I think the Kenneka Jenkins case has a lot of ums and ahs as to how credible that is, but the Kendrick Johnson situation, the 17-year-old student of Georgia was found dead inside of a mat at his school. The death was ruled as an accident. When his parents demanded an independent investigation, a second autopsy revealed that his internal organs, so brains, lungs, and his liver were missing, and then these cavities were filled with newspaper. So that just goes to show you the cover-up there is insane. And then there are 3 other examples. We've got Vance Anderson. He was a painter. His lungs were taken by the Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in Philadelphia, and they were saying that they donated these organs for educational purposes, yet his family did not consent to this. And bearing in mind that is a hospital school, they're probably going to have students in there. Do you know what I mean? If it's a university hospital, you'll probably have practicing students in there. It'll be linked to a local university, and it's quite sad. And the fact that, you know, this guy died due to a lung condition. And we have another one here, Ryan Singleton, 24 years old, of Georgia. So he went to pursue acting career in California, and his body was found in Death Valley, and he had multiple organs removed, and these included his eyes, heart, lung, liver, and kidney. But the rest of his body remained intact, and that's quite crucial, because this kind of emphasises the fact that this was not a brutal random killing, but this was actually very strategic in the fact that they wanted the organs. And the last one is just beyond me, and this is Nicholas Rodriguez, a California state prison inmate who was found after a 15-hour riot in a garbage can in the shower next to his cell. His body was almost cut in half, and his abdomen and chest organs were removed. The mutilation occurred in a medium security prison with surveillance. So this just goes to show you how bizarre this is happening. And I mean, the Kendrick Johnson case, I was a little bit more aware of that, but Nicholas Rodriguez, this happened 2 years ago, and I don't think I've heard anything about it. So